to In the Kitchen with Delightful Donna. Today we're making breakfast for dinner. So this is a simple, quick breakfast that we like to make, and normally you guys know that I do everything from scratch, homemade, but this is the lazy way. So I'm using frozen biscuits, I'm using dehydrated hash browns, and believe it or not, these actually come out so good. They get really crispy in the pan. You know, we put a little butter in there to make that happen, but they come out tasting really super good. And then we're gonna make some biscuits with some gravy with our biscuits and some eggs and a little bit of bacon. Okay, we're gonna start prepping a couple of things. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get these hash browns to start getting them rehydrated. I've got boiling water in my kettle. This is a 1-to-1 ratio, so however many hash browns you want, and the same amount of water. Sorry, it's a little noisy. Probably good. They kind of double in size, so maybe just a slight bit more. We have our daughter and son-in-law to be here today for dinner, so definitely want to make sure we have enough for everybody. I'm sure that's plenty. Now I'm gonna just cover it with water. Just want to make sure that they're all submerged pretty well. And then I'm gonna take a plate on top, and that's just gonna keep, we're gonna set those aside and get them hydrated. Next, we're gonna put some biscuits on our pan. I just lined it with parchment paper, and I buy these biscuits at Sam's Club. You can get them at the grocery store in a smaller bag. I like this one because it lasts me a while. And we're just gonna line up our biscuits. I'm gonna make a dozen or so, and then we'll get those in the oven. And then we'll get started on some gravy. All right, let's get these in the oven. All righty, in they go. These are gonna cook on 350 for 30 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna start making the sausage gravy. So I've taken that chub of sausage that I had, I cut it in half. We'll save the other half for another time. And then I just sliced it down here so we can get it out of the package easier. Put it in here in the frying pan and turn her on. I like to do this on medium-high heat. I have this awesome tool. I think I've shown you guys this before when I do ground beef, but this thing is so great. I know Pampered Chef has one. This one is not Pampered Chef, but I like it just as well. But Pampered Chef does have one. And it works great to break up your meat. And we don't want it super tiny, we want it to have some chunks still in it, but we'll break it down a little bit and let it brown in here. All right, let's check on these hash browns. And you see how they've plumped up now? Looks like they're pretty much rehydrated. And now they really feel like real potatoes. You guys, there's probably some skeptics out there, but I'm telling you, these are so good. And my family absolutely loves them. Just trying to see if there's any more water. There's a little bit of water in there. That's okay. All right, let's get them over into the frying pan. So we're gonna heat up this pan. And I'm gonna put it on high heat because I want it to get that good sizzle. Warming up, we're gonna add some oil. Tablespoon, tablespoon and a half, something like that. I use avocado oil, you can use whatever oil you like. And then, you know we're gonna put some butter, right? Tablespoon-ish. Measure with your heart, okay. So let that melt. This is what makes it taste so good. Any residual water that's in there is gonna cook off. We're gonna cook these on high heat. We'll grab a spatula. And, all right. And you can see that there is just a tiny bit of water that came out with those. It's not much, it's already evaporating. You can see a little bit there. And we're gonna let these just sit, just like that. Spread them out in the pan. I keep them on high heat for about 3-4 minutes. Just let them sit. I'm gonna flip them. You'll see they start to get golden. And then after I flip them one time, then we'll add some salt and pepper to them. Totally check on our sausage. Starting to brown up real nice. Sorry for the noise. I'm gonna break it up a little bit more. All right. That's looking real good. Stir it up. That's why you wear an apron, because when you splash. All right, so it's still pretty good chunks, but it's broken up enough. Here. All right, I'm gonna turn the heat down just a bit to about just above medium. If you see some bigger pieces in there, go ahead and break them up with your spoon. You'll notice there's not a lot of grease in my pan. Sausage is normally greasy. For whatever reason, this Jimmy Dean just isn't. And I like that. I don't want it to be overly greasy, but we do need a little bit of fat to mix with the flour to make that roux so we can get our gravy. So, you know we're going to add some butter. Tablespoon-ish. Or a little more. That's just flavor, friends. I love butter. All right, now we're gonna get some flour. This is just regular flour. I know my container says steak and hot dog flour, but it's just, I use King Arthur, you use whatever you want. I'm gonna go about just under half a cup. Sprinkle that in. And you can add more if you need to. I'm gonna mix that around. We wanna cook out that flour taste because nobody wants their gravy to taste like flour. You see how it just absorbs that butter that was in there. I'm gonna cook that out just a little bit. And it looks good. It should look somewhat dry in your pan. If it's too dry, if you're still seeing a lot of white, like it didn't absorb all the way, then you want to add a little bit more oil or butter. But this looks pretty good. I'm just going to let it go for a couple of minutes. All right. I'm going to get some milk. And this is where we get the whisk out. I'm going to use a combination of milk and half and half. You can use all half and half if you want. It will be very thick and creamy. It adds a lot of calories. So I do use 2% milk also to kind of reduce the calories just a little bit. And put however much gravy you want, that's how much milk you're going to put in. Okay. That was about 3 cups-ish. Stirring it up, and I'm going to add a little bit of heavy cream, like I said. Not heavy cream, I'm sorry, half and half. Maybe half a cup. Right. All right, now it's time for some spices. Got that stirred up. And you can feel there's little bits from the sausage on the bottom of the pan. You want all that. That's called fond. And you want those bits in your gravy. That's where your flavor is going to come from. So I'm just scraping the bottom of the pan. All right. Now here comes the seasoning. I'm going to do about half a teaspoon of salt, cheese, and lots of black pepper. We like lots of black pepper. I'm going to do a full teaspoon of black pepper. It won't taste spicy. This is a good sausage pepper gravy. And I'm just going to tell you guys right now, I've been doing this trick for 30 plus years, making my biscuits and gravy. And only person I've ever shown my secret to is my daughter. But this is my secret. I put a little bit of chicken bouillon. It doesn't have to be a lot. Teaspoon, teaspoon and a half, something like that. It gives it such a great flavor. And you guys are probably thinking, chicken bouillon and sausage gravy, what? That's weird. I know it seems strange, but it just gives it that richness that you want in a good sausage gravy, so it doesn't taste basic. I have to tell you, I can't stand when I go to a restaurant and you order biscuits and gravy and you're like, it's just so bland, like it has no flavor. This gives it the flavor. And people tell me my biscuits and gravy is pretty good. My son-in-law to be will be very happy when he sees this dinner. This is one of his favorites. Okay, we're gonna let that go for a little bit and let it come up to a boil, and then let's check on our hash browns. Now, you guys can see, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Who'd have thought you could get that kind of color from instant hash browns in a box? And I'm scraping the bottom of my pan as I go. All these little bits up. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? You don't want them to burn. All right. So that's turn number one. Now we're going to turn it down. I'm going to go about medium, and I'm going to add some salt and pepper. About a half teaspoon. We're just going to sprinkle it around. Let it work its magic. A little bit of pepper. We don't want too much. Sometimes when you cook pepper like this, if it cooks too long, it gets bitter, so we don't want too much. I want to change the flavor of those potatoes. And you guessed it, we're going to put some more butter. I just like to dot a little butter on the top. Let it melt down in. Flavor, flavor, flavor. Do I use too much? No. Some people might think so. I don't think it's too much. We'll just leave that right there just in case. All right, so I have this about 5. We're going to let that go for a little bit longer. Our biscuits got about 15 minutes still, and we're just going to watch our gravy. Then we'll get some eggs going. And you don't have to constantly stir, but you do want to stir it often. Start cleaning some of this up over here. All right. Let's taste it. Even though it's not thick, we want to taste it just for the flavor. Pretty good. As I turn the heat up a little bit, I can feel it starting to thicken a little bit now. Look at all those sausage crumbles. Mm. Add just a little bit more of the chicken bouillon. Just don't want it to taste flat. All right. Let's check these hash browns again. See, the edges are getting brown. I'll leave it there. Whoops. Wouldn't be me if I didn't make a mess, right? Stage hand always wants the scraps to come off. looking good. Okay, so now these dehydrated hash browns are pretty much cooked already. Once they rehydrate, you don't have to do much. We just want to get it a crisp on them. So I'm going to turn them way down now. I'm going to put them on one, and we're just going to let them go until the rest of our stuff is done. I'm going to start getting some eggs together, get the bacon ready. Just so you know, pro tip, I don't sit here and fry bacon. I take the lazy way out. Yes, I do. And I buy this pre-cooked bacon from Costco. This stuff's amazing, you guys. This stuff comes on, okay, yeah, let's see, sorry. It's Hormel Black Label. It's fully cooked. It's in the refrigerator section at Costco. This is what it looks like when it comes out. It's already on a parchment sheet. I kind of rearrange a little bit just so that they're not on top of each other, so that they cook well. But there we go. That's good enough. And we literally stick this in the microwave for 1 minute. And this bacon's so good. And my husband is like a bacon fanatic. Like, he loves bacon. We'll call him a connoisseur of bacon. And he loves this bacon. It's really good. It's not super thick. It's pretty thin, but it comes out really good. So that's what we use. All right, our gravy's starting to get a little bit of a boil here. So we want to make sure we get that stirred up. You don't want any of that to burn on the bottom. You can see now when I'm stirring it, you see how it's getting on the whisk, it's really starting to thicken. Turn it down just a touch because I don't want it to boil over. Lord knows we've had our share of those messes. Don't need one of those today. Whoa, like right now. Calm down. Calm down. It's really going for it. All right. I turned that way down because we don't need an accident. Moreover, we don't want to ruin our dinner. Okay. So now, I'm going to let it boil a little bit and get it to the thickness that we want. As it cools, once you turn it off and as it cools, it does get thicker. So keep that in mind, that especially if you have leftovers and you want to warm the next day, that you will need to add a little bit of milk to it to thin it. But for now, we're just going to keep letting it thicken up. And it looks good. All right, we got 8 minutes left for our biscuits. We're trying to get everything done at the same time. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. We're sure gonna try. And my kids think this is a restaurant, so they ask for everyone asks for their eggs different ways. And me being the mom I am, I do it. Because I also treat it like it's a restaurant. So we'll get some eggs going here in a minute. All right, so now you can see it's getting really thick. We've just been letting it cook over medium heat. And you get it to the thickness that you like, but see how it coats the back of the spoon? That's what you're looking for. This is silicone, so it's gonna run off real quick when I turn it, but that's what you're looking for. And if you want it thicker than this, go for it. If you didn't get it thick enough in the beginning, if you didn't put enough flour, you can do a flour or a cornstarch slurry at this point. It has to be bubbling in order for you to do that. You just take 2 tablespoons of cornstarch or flour and 2 tablespoons of water, mix it into a little dish, and make sure there's no lumps before you add it. Don't ever add flour or cornstarch to bubbling liquid because it'll just clump up. So make sure that you make it a smooth liquid in a little dish first, and then slowly drizzle it in as you're whisking into the bubbles, and then it will thicken up for you. If it's too thick at this point and you're like, uh-oh, I put too much flour in the beginning and now I really did it, it looks like glue, add a little milk. If you're out of milk, add a little water. Water's not gonna hurt it. That'll thin it out just fine. All right, so that looks really good. Okay, so now we're actually gonna turn on the back burner, and I'm gonna put it all the way to low. Move this to the back. We're just gonna let that go. That's our timer. Our biscuits are done. Pull this out. I'm gonna put the biscuits over here. I have to find a spot. And I'm real bad about not turning the oven off, so I made sure I turned it off before I pull them out. Look how nice those rise up. They're really, really nice biscuits. They're good for something quick, and they're inexpensive, honestly. All right, I'm gonna turn this heat down to medium. And then I'm gonna get rid of this one. I'm going to get myself a different spatula. Pull this egg pan over here. We're gonna start on some eggs. Out some pan. All right, so first things first. Take our lid off our eggs. I like to put, this is Pam, like my friend Pam and George. This is Pam. All right, a little bit of Pam. And I'll do my son-in-law to be, I'll do his first. He's a big fan of eggs. Thanks, stagehand. Appreciate it. Oops, I got a shell in there. I'll show you guys a tip how to get that out. You take the shell, scoot it all the way over like this, and scoot it out, just like that. All right, so we got some eggs going for him. Get a little bit of salt and pepper on there, not too much. He's not a fan of salt, so we just put just a little bit for him. He's a fan of pepper. A little bit of pepper going for him. All right, we're gonna put the bacon in. So let me open up my microwave. Get this out. We're gonna put it in just on that parchment that it comes on, just like this. And it's that easy. Just gonna wiggle these around a little bit. Make sure they're loose. Those whites cooked as much as we can before we put. They'll come for me if I don't make it. Oh, gotta give it a minute. Oh, so close. Dang it. He'll be all right. We just broke one. He'll forgive me. All right, we'll let that cook for a couple more minutes. Look at this, you guys. Look how good that looks. Sizzling. It's awesome. All right. Just one more time. Oh, geez, I did it again. He's really gonna be mad at me. He'll get over it. All right. Plate. Eggs, hash browns, cheese, maybe cheese. Go. Little hash brown. I'm coming back to that burner. And now we're gonna put together a biscuit with gravy, like this. Stir it up. There you have it. Let's give him some bacon. Dinner is served. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I put up a new video. And if you can follow me on Instagram, which is cooking_with DD. Thanks, bye. Dinner!